Good afternoon, everybody. Hello. Good afternoon and welcome to National University Week, brought to you by Career Map Media Group. For those of you who've not seen me before, my name's Heather. I'm from Career Map, and for this afternoon's session, I'm joined by Petya from the University of Essex, where she'll be telling you all about the University of Essex, life at Essex, how to apply, and pretty much everything else you might need to know about studying at Essex. Before I hand over to Petya, I will do a bit of housekeeping. The session is being recorded. It will be emailed to you after. Hello, everybody. I can see you've already found the chat box as well, which is lovely. So yes, the session's been recorded. It will be emailed to you. But if you want to keep anything and use it for the here and now, just take a screenshot or take a photo of your screen if you're on a laptop, so you've got it immediately. My other point I was going to make, and so many of you are here already and you found it, is that the chat box is on the right hand side of your screen. So as Petya is talking and running through her presentation, please ask any questions that you've got in the chat box, and we will pull them all together and do a Q&A piece together towards the end of the session. So now it's my time to hand over to Petya, and I shall see you for the Q&A.
Thanks very much, Heather, and hi everyone. Thanks so much for coming and joining and being here, ready to hear all about Essex and what we can offer you. So yeah, my name's Petya. Just to introduce myself, I work within a department called Student Recruitment here at Essex. So we do a lot of these kinds of events, kind of telling students about our university, what we have to offer, but also helping guide students through things like applications, student finance, student life, settling in, things like that. So anything to do with higher education, pretty much anything we can help with. A little bit more about me. I've been working in this sector for about 3 years now. I did go to uni and I did my degree in sociology, and I really enjoy helping people kind of figure out what's right for them, wherever that may be, whatever it might be, you know, kind of whatever you might want to do in the future. And part of that is making informed decisions. So happy to sit here and tell you all about what Essex has to offer. Okay, so just as a bit of an overview, you've had a little bit of an introduction already, but this is what we're going to go through in a little bit more detail. So we're going to start off telling you about Essex, our history, what we have on offer, the courses. We're going to tell you about student life and what our students love about Essex, as well as the support that we can offer, because it's completely normal to need some kind of support at one point or another, even at multiple points during your degree. I'm going to talk to you about accommodation and what our campus looks like, or our campuses, and then we're going to finish up talking about some of the kind of finer points, so scholarships and bursaries, our entry requirements, contextual offers, and then also how you can visit us as well. So I'll head straight in. Okay, so we're going to start off with a lovely picture of our Colchester campus. So this is one of the lakes on our campus. On our Colchester campus, which is our largest campus, we're lucky to be on an award-winning parkland. So it's won the Green Flag Award for, I think, 7 or 8 years in a row now, for one of the kind of nicest, greenest campuses. And so we're really, really happy. And I think this just kind of sets the scene for what Essex is about, really. So in terms of our kind of mission statement and what we're here to do, Essex is home to the bold and the brave. So if you're interested in challenging convention, you're not worried about kind of putting your opinion out there and, you know, kind of making sure that that you're heard, then this is what we're really about. We've got about 17,800 students from over 140 countries, so very international community. About 30 to 40% of our students hail from outside of the UK, and so we like to think of it as the world in one place. Our courses are really flexible as well, and we provide a great varieties too, so you'll see that in just a second. So you can get involved with a lot, both inside and outside of the classroom, and you'll see that as we go through the presentation a bit more as well. In terms of our campuses, they're friendly, they're vibrant, and they're all quite close to London as well, while not necessarily having to pay those London prices. So we've got a lot on offer right on our doorstep. In terms of our kind of accolades and rankings, I know that for some this can be significant to you when you're looking along your journey of kind of weighing up different universities. We're really happy to be a top 30 university in the UK, so that's according to the latest Guardian University Guide. That should say 2024 on it, my apologies. So we're a top 30 UK there, university, and we have about 88% of our students in employment or further study, as according to that graduate outcome survey as well. So we're really happy to be able to show that we have excellence in teaching and research as well, and a lot of high student satisfaction too. So we're really happy to hear from our students that actually they do value what we have on offer. So we're top 40 for overall student satisfaction in the UK as well. When it comes to our research, this is also a really key part of the Essex experience. If you're interested in research and want to look at this further, we have a lot more information on our website. But in terms of kind of the headline figures, we have 5 subjects in the UK top 10 for research power. So that's showing how influential what we have coming out of Essex is. And 4 subjects in the UK top 10 for research quality as well. So we are putting out there stuff that makes a difference in society, and that is high quality as well. And then we're also really, really glad to be top 100 in the Global Times Higher Education Impact Rankings as well. And that's again to do with research. So we're very, very pleased to be top 100 internationally for those. And again, top 50 for politics and sociology as well. So these are just kind of some headline facts and figures, but if you did want to head over and look at any of those in more detail and the research that each individual department is publishing, we do have that information online for you as well. Students are able to get involved with research as undergraduates and postgraduates, use the facilities, chat with PhD students, or even senior lecturers who are putting out papers and reports on a regular basis, and so it really is brought into the classroom. Okay, speaking of the classroom, just to show you what we have on offer. So our university is split into 3 kind of main areas or faculties. So we've got Faculty of Humanities, and within that we have things like acting, our hotel school, which has things like hotel management, as well as hospitality. We've got history, literature and film, and law in there as well as philosophy and art history. Within our Faculty of Science and Health, this is also a diverse faculty. So we've got things like life sciences, so biology, marine biology, things like that, maths and actuarial sciences, psychology, computer science and electronic engineering, as well as health and social care and sport courses as well. Within our final faculty, that is our social science faculty, you'll find things like psychology, as well as psychosocial and psychoanalytic studies. So that's something a little bit different. We'll find things like economics, government, language and linguistics, and sociology and criminology as well. So we do have quite a diverse range out there, and again, you can find a much more detailed list of our courses on our web pages, but this just kind of puts it in a nice, handy nutshell for you. Okay, so just to talk to you a little bit more about location, because I know earlier I said we were close to London, but this should hopefully put it into perspective. So we have 3 main campuses, and the first I would say is Colchester. It's our largest campus. It has all that you would expect from a campus university, everything in one place. Shops, SU, cafes, restaurants, your library, which is 24/7. You've got your SU events, your sport facilities, things like that, all in one place and easy for you to access. So it's like a little student village. Colchester is about 50 minutes from London, 50 minutes to an hour using the rail networks. On the other hand, Southend is about 45 to 50 minutes, but it's more of a a city university vibe, so smaller, but then again, you get to be kind of closer to the city centre of Southend, which is a lovely beachside town. And then finally, Loughton, which is where the majority of our acting school East 15 acting school courses are held. That's a little bit closer to London. It's in Greater London. And so again, you do benefit from having all of those amazing facilities on your doorstep, really easy to access. But you can also head into London if you wanted to, or even from London, go further afield, all around the UK to airports, things like that, really, really easily as well. So this should actually sum up pretty much what I've just said to you. But in fact, we do tend to put our campuses in really, really nice places, and we have really lovely facilities on show for you as well. And so, like I said, Colchester is our biggest campus and set next to 200 acres of award-winning parkland. Southend, on the other hand, is more of that city vibe. And then finally, Loughton is with those direct links to London's West End Theatre District as well. So that's kind of the main differences between our three campuses, or those are the main differences. So as I said earlier, we are very lucky to have quite an international outlook. At our university, we do value each and every background and experience, and we think that that's what can make for a really effective education, is if we hear from people from all sorts of different backgrounds. We also do like to offer things like cultural events. We have societies that will cover things like that as well. And then if you wanted to really get immersed and really try something new, going for a study abroad year or even a placement year in another country is another way that you can get involved and kind of just try something new as well. And those are offered on the vast majority of our courses. So we are able to offer you that kind of flexible experience of being able to try out living in another country too. Alongside that, if you wanted to learn a language alongside your degree, you are able to do that too for a year for free as part of our Essex for All programme. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about that just a little bit down the line, but just to add in that we do really value that as part of your Essex experience. Okay. So another thing that we can offer in terms of support for you is our employability support. Like I said, work placements are available on most courses. So that means you can add another year onto the course that you're studying or apply to a course with a study placement year. Typically these, with a placement year or a sandwich year. Typically these would take place between your second and your third year of study, and they just allow you to go out there, get some work experience, build links in your industry, possibly earn some money while you're abroad, while you're working as well. And they can really, really help you when it comes to grad employment too. So we found that students who do these do come back and they say, it was amazing, I learned really good skills. I found that actually doing my university work is easier now because I've gotten into a rhythm with it. And actually some of them get offers immediately to come back once they've graduated from their degree too. So it can be a really, really good experience for the students who do take it up. And we do offer support in terms of helping you find those placements too. Alongside that, we do things like field trips, conferences, we have guest lecturers come to talk, so guest speakers from various different employers that we have links with. Alongside that, we've got data science short courses to allow you to build up that key skill, which the government has said that we do need to build those kinds of data science and data literacy skills up. So you can take that up for free alongside your course, as well as things like our career service, which is always available and always there for you, whether it's listing job postings that we found, helping give you some direction, helping proofread CVs, cover letters, things like that. And alongside that, we also offer plenty of part-time jobs on campus too. So being a student ambassador, working in catering, things like that. Okay, so speaking of Essex for All, I've touched on a couple of these already, so our data for all and our languages for all. But this is in general, well, in very brief terms, our package of kind of helping students to develop further outside of the classroom. So we've added some key pillars in here. So languages, data, you can learn about environmental sustainability, which is one of our key tenets here at Essex. You can learn again about democracy and citizenship, and then also health and well-being for all as well. So you can learn these kind of skills for success alongside your general studies as well. And we believe that these are things that can help propel students forward in their future post-graduation. Okay, so we're going to go on to talk a little bit more about student life now in general. Now we've spoken a little bit more about what Essex is about. What is it like to actually be a student here? Well, I'm going to start off, no student experience is complete without an overview of the Students' Union. And at Essex, we're really happy to have an award-winning student union who provide a really amazing experience for our students. So students are automatically members, and that means that they get access to amazing events and experiences. So the SU will put on various different networking, kind of social events, things like that, just to help students feel more at home and more at ease, because university can be really, really daunting sometimes when you arrive. And so it just helps to have someone there to say, hey, we've put this on, everyone's in the same boat, you can just get to know each other, meet some friends, possibly meet some future housemates, things like that, and can really, really help you along the way when you're settling into uni and even after that as well. We've got over 130 student societies to join and over 40 sports teams to join as well. So if you're keeping track, that's over 170 clubs and societies based on your interests that you can join as well. You could join just for fun, you could join to compete, you could just join to go to the social events, or you could go just kind of recreationally to sessions once a week or once every 2 weeks. It's completely up to you. And that means that you can kind of feel more part of the Essex community. Alongside that, the Students' Union provides things like advice and support, independent of the university. You can get involved in things like volunteering, and actually our V team, which is our volunteering team at the university, has also recently won the King's Award for volunteering as well. So this is something that we're really, really strong in. If you want to build up those skills, do take a look online to see what we have on offer there. But very proud to say that we have an award-winning volunteering movement here at Essex. And alongside that, the SU also provides part-time jobs for you as well. So that's what they're all about, is making sure that you can get involved wherever you want. So just to show you a brief overview of those clubs and societies that I was just talking about, this isn't obviously an exhaustive list, but it just provides you a little bit of a taste of the different things we have available. So anything from debating to Canadian law societies to European societies, vegan and vegetarian, environment and sustainability, all the way to kind of Pokemon and LGBTQ plus societies. We do have it kind of all wrapped up. And if you want to start a society that you don't see on our list, that's also possible. So it doesn't mean that the list is going to stay the same forever. It can be added to as well. So we're really proud to have that kind of community spirit in Essex. And again, on our Colchester campus, having that kind of student village feel is really, really nice as well. So looking at the arts in more detail, on campus, we have a theatre on each and every one of our campuses. Students put on productions, so you can get involved in making those or going to spectate and be an audience member. We've got live music and film screenings that happen as part of our societies. And then we also have our art exchange and Escala gallery as well. And those are on our Colchester campus. So if you are interested in the arts and you wanted to look into this a little bit more, we are really quite proud to have that kind of artsy community on each of our campuses. Alongside this, if you want to get involved in writing for our newspaper, our radio and TV station. You can get involved in that as part of a society too. So you can go along and look at the arts, or you could make them. The other side of that coin is looking at our sports offering. So in terms of sports, inside our sports arena on our Colchester campus, we have a state-of-the-art gym. If you are an avid sports person and a performance athlete, I'd really recommend looking into our sports scholarship and our performance athlete scholarships offering as well. For some students, it could mean up to 100% tuition fee discount if you're playing at a high enough level in a specific sport. And so we do have a really excellent offering for our athletes who are competing at a high level and who would be interested in representing Essex. On the other hand, though, that doesn't mean to say that we only offer that we only have sports open to students who are those kinds of top performing athletes. If you're a complete beginner in something, that's all perfectly fine. It's part of what we call sports for all. So we've got Get Fit and Just Play as well as part of these. So if you wanted to just get involved in the sports club as a complete beginner and kind of try and get up in the ranks a little bit, then you can do, or you can just get involved as part of just playing. So we've got a variety out there, and all of our sports clubs are really welcoming to people of all levels and abilities. Okay, so now we've talked about kind of what we offer in terms of student life for sports and arts and our kind of fun side of things. It's also important to reflect on what we offer outside of that and looking at the academic and the wellbeing support that we offer. So starting with academic support, this is something that's really important. I see it come up time and time again that students find it maybe sometimes tricky to adjust to things once they come to university. And it's just something that happens. It is just a gap. I had it when I went to university, where I was writing amazing essays for my history A-level, and then jumping into my degree and doing a politics essay and finding it actually quite hard to get to grips with the mark scheme and making sure that my points were coming across as I intended, because it's just a little bit of a different standard. And that's perfectly fine and natural. So it's important that you make sure you're aware of the support that's offered to you and available to you. And at Essex, we're really proud to have things like our Learning and Study Skills Support Centre, and our Skills for Success team can help students with things like writing skills, maths, research and referencing, and English language skills as well. So if you need an essay to be proofread or a lab report to be checked for its maths, if you're struggling with a specific statistical thing that you're learning in one of your modules, you can always go along and ask. And of course, this can really help you in terms of your future assignments as well. Alongside this, I'd also like to highlight that we have peer mentors across the university. So these are students who have been in your position before, and they can help you too if you'd rather speak to someone kind of closer to you in age during a course that you're doing, or doing the course that you're doing, then they're available to you. And then we also have our personal tutors, and that's academic staff from within your department who you can reach out to for any academic support as well. So there's always someone to talk to and always someone to reach out to should you need it. Okay. What about if you need any kind of pastoral support or support not to do with your academic life? Well, we do have a wellbeing and inclusivity service as part of our offering to you as a university. So you can make appointments with them, do drop-in sessions, and they're able to help you with pretty much anything. So if you're struggling with maybe some anxiety, some homesickness, you've had an argument with your housemates, you're struggling with kind of getting into the groove of university, anything like that, you can always come and chat to our wellbeing team as well. In terms of our inclusivity service, they can help you with things like applying to a disabled students allowance, for example, and helping support you with that and walk you through all the steps and helping integrate that into your kind of academic side of things as well. We provide mindfulness and wellness activities and counselling and mentoring as well. So it's all on offer and there for you should you need it. Alongside that, we're really happy to have an NHS medical centre on our Colchester campus. It's really easily accessible to students, so you can register there, get various vaccines, checkups, whatever you might need through your GP there, as well as a multi-faith chaplaincy if that's something of interest to you, and 24-hour security too. And they're all wellbeing trained as well, or mental health first aid trained, our security officers as well. So they're on hand to help you 24 hours. And then just to highlight that the SU have their own advice service as well. So again, you can reach out to multiple channels should you need it. Okay, so thinking about accommodation, another really key part and aspect of student life. This is something that's guaranteed for your first year at Essex, and as long as you make us your firm choice and apply by our accommodation deadline, which typically falls in August. So you've got plenty of time between making Essex your firm choice and making the decision of where you'd like to live. We've got a mixture of ensuite and shared bathroom options, but they are mainly single occupancy rooms. If you wanted to share a room, it is available on some accommodation buildings, but pretty much you'll be staying by yourself for the most part in that one room. And we've got high-speed internet included and your bills included as well. We have various options to fit different budgets, and I think actually Essex has a really amazing offering of quite good budget-friendly accommodation. So I'm just going to take you through a few examples, but we won't go through all of them because otherwise we'd be here all day. So I've cut it down to just 5 examples here. So on our Colchester campus, what we have on offer is something, this would be kind of a lower budget option, would be the towers. So anywhere from £109.90 to £116.76 per week for a room. And these are more kind of social flats with a larger kind of flat size between 14 to 16. And these are really nice, close to the centre of campus, and really easy to get to and from various things that you need. On the other hand, we've got another accommodation called the South Courts. Again, quite close to the centre of campus, only 5 minutes, but your flat sizes are likely to be a bit on the smaller side. And it's really quite nice and close to the sports centre as well. And within South Courts, we also have something that's brand new, just opened up, called the Athletes Village as well. So that means if you're a performance athlete and you want to be close to the sports centre in the Athletes Village living with other athletes, then you can do that as well as part of South Courts. So have a look on our website if you want to find any more information about that. Looking a little bit further out from that kind of centre of campus, about 50-minute walk, we've got University Quays. This is kind of closer to the city centre, closer to Hythe train station. So Hythe is the local kind of neighbourhood, which is right next to our Colchester campus. It's right on the river, and you've got smaller flat sizes again. And this is maybe slightly upper budget band as well. So really you're kind of seeing the breadth of that kind of budget and distance that we have from our centre of campus as well. And then finally on Colchester campus, this would be maybe some of our more expensive or kind of upper budget range accommodation, which is the Pastures. So this is double rooms. It's a brand new accommodation, about a 20-minute walk to the centre of campus. And you can do either a premium ensuite room, shared facility rooms, or studios with their own laundrette as well. So really that kind of shows in general the breadth of what we have available. But if you want to look in more depth and see all of the options available, again, our website is an excellent place to find that kind of information. Looking at Southend, on the other hand, our main accommodation there would be our University Square building. So it's a few minutes walk to the main buildings and to the city centre, and it's pretty much all ensuite facilities and available for undergraduate and postgraduate students as well. Okay, so as we talk about accommodation and budgets, it's kind of a nice segue to lead into things like cost of living, scholarships and bursaries, and what we can do to support students in that kind of framework. So at Essex, we are really, really aware and really keen to support students with any concerns to do with paying for university, the cost of university, life outside of just paying for your tuition fees as well. So we're really, really happy to be able to offer the following scholarships and bursaries. Again, this is not an extensive list, but these are the ones that we pulled out as being kind of the most applicable to the widest pool of students. So we've got something called the Essex Futures Bursary, and that can provide you with up to £3,000 towards your accommodation to support you with the cost of that, provided you have a household income below £35,000. On the other hand, if you're coming from one of our schools membership schools, and you can look online for a list of those, then you can get a £1,000 discount on your fees on that as well. In addition, if you are completing the IB and you get 34 points or above in that, then that can provide you with a £2,000 scholarship. And then, as I mentioned earlier, if you are a performance athlete, there are some packages available that can provide you with up to 100% fee discount. You can get cash bursaries, performance coaching, special support services, things like that. So look into those if you're interested. And then finally, we also have the £250 Essex Preparation Programme bursary. So this is a short online course that you can do, provided you make Essex your firm choice and you're coming to Essex, and that can give you £250 cash bursary just for completing that. So this just kind of provides you a little bit of a taster, but you can look online for terms and conditions, availability, eligibility, and things like that. Some of them you have to apply for, some of them are automatically awarded to you based on data that we get from the student loans company when you apply to student finance. So it will vary a little bit. Okay. Alongside our scholarships and bursaries, we do offer a variety of measures to kind of help with the cost of living. One of the kind of key things I would say is our £2 hot meals on campus. So across all of our campuses, in each of our catering outlets, we have a £2 hot meal per meal every day, if that makes sense. So £2 breakfast, £2 lunch, £2 dinner. They'll change it up every day, so maybe someday it'll be a ham and cheese sub from our fake Subway outlet on campus. Maybe the next day it'll be falafel and hummus kind of sandwich. Maybe one day it will be a oh, I'm really sorry. I had a fly just go right into my face there. So going from there, we also have free events hosted by the SU and the university, such as Eat and Meet. So go along, get a free meal, meet some people, make some friends, things like that. The SU has brought out a basics range, which they've achieved by buying in bulk. And then alongside that, we've got things like job opportunities on campus and also a hardship fund. If you really are struggling and you just need some emergency help, then you can reach out. And the hardship fund is primarily funded by our kind alumni as well. So trying to help current students in that if they need support to continue their studies. You can look into, again, more of these on our webpage. Okay, so I'm going to go a little bit further into kind of applying to Essex now and looking at what that's like. So our requirements do vary between courses, but for most undergraduate courses, we can consider A-levels, BBB or IB 30, or the equivalent of, I believe it's 120 UCAS tariff points. Masters in research, I won't go into at this point in time, but I would just like to highlight that for some of our courses, we have specific A-levels or IB or BTEC requirements. So maybe you need to take maths A-level or science, something like that for some courses. But for the majority, there is a specific subject that you need to be taking. All of our entry requirements are plainly put on our websites on each course page. So if you wanted to, let's say, look into psychology, you can go online to our psychology course page, have a look through to the entry requirements section and see what's required and what our typical offer would be depending on the qualification you are taking. We can offer what's called a combined offer as well. So let's say you're doing 1 A-level and 2 BTECs, then we do tend to offer those combined offers as well, depending on obviously the type of qualification you're doing and if we're able to consider the qualifications you're doing with the course that you're applying to. Okay. Another thing I wanted to mention is our contextual offers, and these are new for this year. So this is something we've just brought out as we're committed to ensuring that all students who have the potential to succeed at Essex, we make sure that they are acknowledged. So if you're eligible for a contextual offer, this will typically be up to 2 A-level grades or equivalent below our standard conditional offer. So let's say, for example, our standard offer would be BBB. It could drop down to BBC or BCC. Factors we could take into account are things like underrepresented groups, if you're progressing from one of our schools, membership schools and colleges, and you can see the list of those in the terms and conditions on our website. So check if your school or college is listed there. Students who have attended an offer holder day, students who attend a compulsory admissions interview. So we can consider a lot of factors in there as well. So again, full information is online, but we're really happy to kind of support this going forward. Okay, and then just to finish up, talking about how you can visit us, really. So we've got a variety of ways that you can visit us. We've got open days coming up. The mini one would be in January on the 20th. And then we also have main open days in June, September and October. So June would be for our Colchester campus, and then September and October be our Colchester and Southend campuses. So if you did want to come down, have a look, tour departments, meet academics, then we're really happy to offer those, and we'd be really, really happy to see you too. In addition to this, we also have a virtual open day experience. So if you can't attend an open day on the day, you can do that virtually. And then finally, you can, if you want to, book a campus tour. So we have these running weekly, and you can get shown around by one of our friendly ambassadors, and they can show you what it's like to be an Essex student. Okay. So I think I'll finish up there. I reckon I raced through that and left enough time for questions. But yeah, I just wanted to say thank you very much for listening. And I've got a QR code there, which I'm just going to leave up if that's okay on the slides. So pretty much if you wanted to register your interest, just to keep in touch with us, so you can receive updates from us at Essex. Let's say you're interested in open days, things like that. If you just scan that QR code, it's a short form to fill out. And then we can keep in touch with you. But yeah, thank you very much for listening. I can see we've got loads of lovely highs in the chat. So yeah, looking forward to your questions.
Absolutely, thank you so much. And actually, I usually start with the questions from the first onwards, but I'm just going to comment on the most recent from Leroy. So Leroy just said, do you need to sign up for the open days? I'm guessing the answer is here. You can do that through this QR code. Is that correct?
Yeah, so for our June and September and October open days, our registration hasn't opened for that yet. So I'd really recommend actually signing up for updates, and then we'll let you know as soon as things open up. We would love for students to register, just so then we know what capacity we have, the resources that we need, things like that. But if you really don't know, or if you really kind of you have to go last minute, then we do also accept people coming up last minute as well, as long as they register on campus when they arrive. But I'd always encourage students to register in the first instance on our website. So yeah, recommend signing up to our newsletter, and then you can find out from there.
Fab, lovely, thank you. Right then, so I'll kick off from like the beginning onwards. So we had a question saying, I'm an international student. Is Essex a good uni? I think we've covered a lot of that, yes. But they're asking, how would they apply if they're international students?
Yeah, so for international students, I'd say the majority of applications I'd recommend go through UCAS. So this is the way that the vast majority of UK undergraduate admissions are processed. So on UCAS, you have up to 5 decisions, up to 5 choices. So you can apply to Essex between 1 and 5 times. If you wanted to apply to us 5 times for 5 different courses, you're welcome to. But I'd recommend kind of choosing your options wisely and strategically. So let's say it's 4 universities and Essex is your 5th choice. And on your UCAS application, you would need to provide your academic background, so your past and predicted academic record, a personal statement, and some other information as well. We get a reference off of you, and just kind of, we might need to then do an interview depending on the course. But that is the main way that you would apply. We do also accept direct applications in certain circumstances. So we do have a direct application form on our website as well. But for the majority of cases, I'd recommend going via UCAS, because then you pay once and you can apply to up to 5 UK universities using that.
Wonderful, thank you. Leroy has just popped another question, comment in the chat, and this is applicable for everybody. For anybody that is worried about missing out on any of this information, we're going to send all of this via email afterwards, so you'll get a link to the recording and any kind of resources and links included as well, so don't worry about missing out on anything. Back to the questions, we had Manpreet who said, do you support student exchange programs to study abroad 1 year?
Yes, we do. Yeah. So we've had students, I think I covered this in the presentation, but I'm happy to go over it again. We've had students go all over the world. So anywhere from kind of Southeast Asia to the Americas, so kind of North and Central and South America, to kind of Australia, all over Europe. It kind of really varies. We've had students go to parts of Africa as well. So really varied, and we do support those partnerships. We have a lovely international partnerships team here at the university, so we're always trying to build those and get a really attractive offering for our students. We already have a really attractive offering, but always trying to build it and make it much more varied as well. So if you are interested in that, I can post in the chat link where you can type in the course that you're interested in, you can type in the level of study that you're interested in doing, and then it will show you on a map where we have partnerships for that particular course. Yeah,
that'd be wonderful if you could. I'm going to ask you to multitask though while asking a question. Is that okay? So I had a question from Meekly which says, which faculty offers the best career prospects?
That's a really good question. I've actually asked a question like that before. I would say across our faculties, as I mentioned, we have an 88% kind of employment rate within 15 months across the university for undergraduate students who have done an undergraduate degree with us. It does vary from course to course and from faculty to faculty, but pretty much it's only by a percentage point or 2 as far as I've seen in our statistics. But if you did want to have a look for specific statistics, departments do publish those on their course pages and on their departmental pages.
Yeah.
But as far as I've seen, it only varies by a percentage point or 2. What I would like to highlight is within the majority of our undergraduate degree programs, we do have a career support module each and every year. So that means that you will, alongside your studies, alongside all the other modules you're taking, you'll go along and you'll learn those employability skills. You can develop your CV, you can explore different careers related to the course you're studying and different options available to you. And so you have that support built in. So even if you're looking at a number, I would say that it doesn't represent necessarily, well, what is it I'm trying to word? So even if you are worried about employability after graduation, and I do really understand that this is something that students, it's become more and more of an interest and a concern of students, because university is at the end of the day an investment in your future, then I would say look into the career support services, the employment links that we have with various companies as well, because one department might have really amazing links with employers, but then the other department might have actually a really amazing careers program built into their course. But I'd like to say overall we do a really good job across the university in any case.
Wonderful, thank you. There's a question here about extracurricular activities, and you did a wonderful job of talking around the societies and the different societies and support and activities that people can do. But is there anything outside of that you're able to talk about? Because Priya just says what extracurricular activities are available. So is there anything else outside of what we've already spoken about?
So we talked about sports clubs and societies. You've got Essex for All as well, which can provide you languages, data, science, environmental sustainability. You can volunteer, and I mentioned our amazing award-winning volunteering service as well, as part of the SU offering. We've got students who go along and get part-time jobs. They can become ambassadors. They can work as part of Essex Eats as well, so on campus in our catering facilities. We've got students who take part in a variety of things. I would say within those sports clubs and societies, if you wanted to get involved on a higher level, we do have committees for each and every one of them as well. So you can go along and just take part, or if you wanted to help in running them, that's also an option. So let's say you become chair of the Sociology Society. That could mean inviting guest lecturers onto campus to talk about careers, or maybe it's organising social events for the department, for members of that society. Or it's maybe creating a debate for you to be able to go, or maybe a film screening or something to do with the course. So really, you can get involved on that kind of surface level, or you can get involved on a higher level as well if you want to help run the society. So there's a lot of kind of different things on offer. I will say that we do have on our Colchester campus, again, that kind of student village vibe. So a lot is on offer for you right on your doorstep. And then in Southend, it's the same thing in terms of everything is quite close together, but more of that city vibe. So there's a lot going on, and a lot that you can get involved with. I hope that answers it a little bit more detail.
I think so. Yeah, thank you. And you mentioning just the different campuses there is actually a nice segue to a question from Jessie. And I think it really links to that employability piece as well. But Jessie says, asked, do any campuses perform better out of the three?
That's a good question. I would say, unfortunately, I don't know the answer to that one. So the courses that are offered on our Southend campus are typically ones to do with nursing. So we do adult mental health nursing, we do speech and language therapy, we do occupational therapy. So it's typically our health departments. Those kinds of courses are offered in our Southend campus, but typically they're also offered at our Colchester campus as well. Quite a few of them are offered. So for example, you can do nursing on Colchester or Southend, and therefore the statistics for that course would be put together in one in terms of our reporting. So I believe the data that comes out doesn't distinguish between those two campuses if they're offered on both. On our East 15 kind of employment statistics, that's where you could maybe get a little bit more detailed, because our East 15 acting school courses are primarily offered just in our Loughton campus. So if you wanted to look at those employment statistics online, then you could pretty much assume that that's our Loughton campus only, because only one or two courses are offered outside of our Loughton campus that are part of East 15 acting school, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So when it comes to our Colchester campus, on the other hand, that's where the vast majority of courses are offered. As I said, some of them are replicated across Southend as well and also offered there. But there are majority of courses that are offered there are only offered on Colchester campus. So right. You would kind of put the data together a little bit, but I would say in general, the answer is I'm not too sure, I'm afraid.
No, absolutely fine, but still a really good answer, and thank you. We've got about 13-ish questions in about 13 minutes, so I think that should work quite well, actually. And we've got a really lovely question here from Lucy. I say lovely, and I just think it's because I think a lot of people will feel this way. She says, Do you have any tips on deciding whether to relocate or study local? I like the look of Essex, but I am unsure if I will settle away from family and friends. And I feel like a lot of people must feel like that.
That is that's a very, very good question, and something that I think I was unsure about as well. So a little bit of context: I grew up in Reading. I ended up going to university in Bath, and so for me, it was a case of I wanted to be far enough away that I felt like I've gained independence. And for a lot of students, I think that's probably one of the main drivers in moving away, is feeling like you're kind of making your own way and gaining that independence, gaining those adult life skills. But I also wanted to make sure I was close enough to home. So it's about an hour on the train between Bath and Reading. And so for me, that was something that was really important, because I can also see the benefits, totally see the benefits in staying home and commuting instead of relocating, because then you still have that kind of support network of your family and any friends that are also staying close, all kind of available to you. You kind of know that you're going home to the same place, and you're able to have that kind of security system there. What I will say is that, of course, it's always a very personal decision, and there is no one-size-fits-all approach. For some students, it does work out 100% better to commute because of all those benefits that I've just mentioned. It could even be cheaper for some students. So for our university, we do have a lot of students who actually commute, because a lot of students we pull from a local kind of demographic from the UK. And for some students, it could wind up cheaper too. So maybe taking the bus every day or taking the train every day. But for some students who commute, on the other hand, it could wind up actually being more expensive because of those commuting costs or parking on campus, etc. So it's always a very personal decision, and there are loads and loads of things to weigh up when it comes down to it. I can only give my experience in terms of I went as far as I wanted to, a little bit far out, but close enough to easily be able to get home. I know for some people, they want to get as far away as possible to kind of feel like they've put enough distance that they can get that independence and kind of really make their own way. But for some people, they do want to stay nice and close. I would say my main piece of advice is maybe go along to open days. Then you can get a really good gut feeling of, do I feel like I would be welcome here? Do I feel like I would fit in? Do I feel like I would kind of meet my kind of university family here? Because it is all about those kind of support services that are offered, the community that's built around it that can really, really help you with any homesickness. And so when I first went to university, I went to a campus uni, and it was like I never wanted to leave because I felt like I had everything that I needed. And I can definitely see elements of that in massive elements of that in Essex's offering as well, as that kind of family community feeling. So go along to open days and see if you think that would work for you. But there's a lot of factors to weigh up there. I'm really sorry I went way over a minute there, but there's loads in terms of that answer. But yeah,
it's a really deep question, really, isn't it? And I think that could almost do a full session on something like that. And it is such like a personal preference. But there are some other questions around this topic, so I'll stick around it. So Meekly says, do many people come to your uni as a group of friends or on their own?
Oh, that's a really interesting question. I would say because we recruit locally for a lot of the time for our kind of UK market anyway, then I would say it is likely to happen actually. And I've heard of actually even some students requesting that they get put in the same accommodation together in the same flat. So that does happen too. So it does happen, I'm sure, but I'm not sure to what extent.
No, but that's good to know, because actually I would have assumed incorrectly the opposite. So it's good to know. Lorne said, is there a way that I can speak to current students at Essex and find out more about their experiences? So that's the open day piece for sure. I'll just finish the last bit so we can do it all together. Or do we have any case study videos?
Yes, absolutely. Do you know what? It's like you wrote that question for me because I used to manage this service.
Ah,
So this is what I've just posted in the chat is a link to a service called Unibuddy. Now, Unibuddy basically works with a lot of universities in being able to provide a service exactly for what you're asking. So speaking to current students for free. You don't need to attend any open day or sign up to anything kind of in terms of attending off holidays, things like that. This is just something that you can access from your home easily online. So all you need to do is make an account on Unibuddy, and from there you can go along and chat to staff, students. You can filter by course, filter by level of study that you're interested in, and this is something I always push. I even have a Unibuddy water bottle, and so I think it's a really amazing thing because it's something that even if you're not able to visit us, you can still really easily keep in touch, hear what a real student's experience is at uni, and specifically at Essex. And while I'm on the topic, I will say it's also available on the UCAS website. So if you type in UCAS Unibuddy, then that will pull in ambassadors from all the universities who use Unibuddy into one place. So if you wanted a wider pool, you could go there too.
Wow, brilliant. So you'd asked if you wanted to stay at home, is there an option to join online rather than in person? And I'm taking from this is that Seed would be there on campus but potentially want to join a lecture remotely. Is that a possibility?
Yes, so we do have some of our courses do still have some kind of an online element in some cases. I would say for the majority, I'm just going to post a link in the chat there. For the majority, in person is the way to go. Now, if you are asking about it in terms of doing the full degree online, then I've just posted a link in the chat as to what we do offer in terms of online degrees. So we've got some undergraduate, some masters, and you can have a look at what we have on offer there. So I hope that kind of answers your question. I would say we would possibly have some flexibility around attending things online or catching things up after the fact. But if you want to do the whole degree online, check out that link.
Great, perfect, thank you. Lorna asked a question. I don't know whether there's a definite answer to this. She says, how many hours a week do you actually spend at uni?
That's a good question. So if you ask any recruitment professional, then they'll put it in terms of what's called contact hours. So a contact hour is any time that you are in a lecture or a lab or a tutorial, a seminar, any time that you're interacting with an academic or PhD student, or kind of getting any kind of teaching or discussion, anything like that done. So in terms of contact hours, that would vary massively between courses. So for example, if you were looking at possibly a social sciences course, you would probably see maybe between kind of 12 to 20 contact hours per week, maybe in your first year, but then you might actually see that reduced down quite significantly by the time you get to your third year, for example. Whereas if you're looking at more kind of sciencey engineering courses, they tend to rely a bit more on that contact hour because there's a lot to fit in, there's a lot of content, and they do need that taught element a lot of the course. And so you might see actually your contact hours stay between 15 and 20 between those kind of first and third years. But I would say it varies massively depending on course. So on our course pages, we will specify roughly what the teaching and the learning looks like on that particular course. So if you're interested in that. But I'd say on average, contact hours would be between maybe 13 and 20 contact hours per week for your kind of first year, and then roughly it would reduce down a bit as you go through from your first to third year. And then after that, it's down to your independent and individual work. So your assignments, essays, extra reading, lab reports, things like that.
Yeah, perfect. And again, another great segue into my next question. It's like we're in tune here. Jessie said, what's the first year of uni like? She said, I've been told it's more like a learning year and doesn't go towards your overall grade. Is this true?
At the vast majority of universities, this is the case. I've only heard of a couple where everyone says first year doesn't count, but I will caveat that in just a second. I've only heard of a couple of universities where your first year grade does in fact go towards your overall grade when you come out of university. So first year, I typically would say that is the year to get in good habits. So you might think, oh, first year doesn't count, and so you can, kind of ignore those studies or maybe put them to the side in favor of some other things. But I would say actually it's an excellent time to start building those habits, starting to balance your work and your work life, your kind of studying, if you've got any part-time jobs that you might want to pick up, no pressure. If you've got any sports clubs, societies, going and make sure that you're being social, kind of starting to balance those things out. It can be tough at first for some people. And so first year is a really excellent time to kind of start building in, okay, well, here's my study schedule. Here's when I'm going to get my independent work done. I have a social here, so that means I might need to get this assignment done before that. And so making sure that you kind of build in that kind of good progression. So then by the time you hit second and third year, you're ready to go and you've gotten into the groove of things. Because that's when your grades, for the vast majority of universities, that's when your grades will start to count towards your final overall degree classification. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I would say first year is a really excellent time to try new things as well. Join different clubs and societies. If you've not done this before, just give it a go. It might be knitting. You've never done knitting before, but you want to try. Great. It might be debating. You might want to develop your public speaking skills. Amazing. So I would say put yourself out there, meet new friends, and then that will really help you as you go through into your second.
Yeah, like set the foundations basically, isn't it?
Yeah, so and then foundation years are entirely separate to that, so we won't touch on that.
No, I've really gone off on one there. Right, so we're on the hour. I am obviously sensitive to time. Petja, have you got another 5 minutes?
I do, yeah, happy to stay.
Right, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put my email address in the chat now. So if we don't cover your question or you feel like you'd like us to elaborate on anything, please email me and then I can contact Petja separately and we can basically get the questions and answers sorted. But for the time being, I will just kind of crack on with what's in the chat box here. And you did just mention part-time jobs and my ears picked up because somebody asked previously, do many people have to get a part-time job? And if so, does it impact on the study time? Well, not the study time, on their studies and their performance?
Yeah, that's a really good question, actually. So I will say that with the cost of living, I'm not going to ignore the fact that a lot more students are seeking to get that kind of to get extra income in some ways, whether it's getting a part-time job or working in between term times. So I had summer jobs and then I also did kind of seasonal work. So I did telephone fundraising in my final year for the university. So I'm not immune to that. I haven't been immune to that. And I know that a lot of students will be looking into that as part of their university experience. So I will just want to acknowledge that just from the get-go. When it comes to how it affects your studies, that is, again, a very, very personal thing. And it will depend on the kind of support structures you already have in place. If you maybe... As linking back to that first question, your first year can be about setting those good habits in place, and then maybe in your second and third year, if you wanted to pick something up to help support that as a part-time job, see how it fits in with your schedule. It will depend on the habits that you have in place, how rigorous your course is and how much time you spend on it as well. Because I can't say, okay, well, this course is easy and therefore don't worry about it. You can just pick up a part-time job, because it's very different for everybody. And then it will also depend on just kind of the kind of job as well. So some jobs are more flexible. So for example, being a university ambassador, universities are very aware that students need flexible schedules and they just want to pick up maybe a few hours here and there. So being an ambassador or working in catering outlets, things like that can be really, really good and flexible for you. That can really help keep the impact low in terms of your overall balance. So I was an ambassador, as I said. I also did telephone fundraising, and that was a bit more structured, but I could pick up extra shifts here and there as well if I wanted to, if I felt like I had the capacity. And then if you do pick up something, let's say you go to a university town and you're studying and you want to pick up some part-time retail job or maybe hospitality, things like that. They typically, if you go to university and you're in a kind of student town or city, they are also experienced in providing those more flexible schedules to students as well. So that doesn't mean to say that it's going to work out for everyone, it's going to be perfect for everyone, but it could work out for you. It's worth trying and worth looking into if you want to. But yeah, sorry, again, it's a bit more of it depends kind of answer again, but it really does depend.
Well, no, it absolutely is. And I think the thing is, it's so personal. Everybody feels slightly different about everything. Everybody's got different kind of objectives and, they want to get different things out of it. So I think that you're doing a great job of kind of explaining it for everybody. I'm going to end with this final question, and I think that this is applicable to absolutely anybody listening. And so Lucy's asked, is there anything that I can be doing now during my final year of sixth form to better prepare for uni? And I appreciate, again, this could be a massively open-ended question because this could be study, personal, but from your experience, and you've been through it and you've got great experience to draw on, what would you say is the answer to that?
I would say, so we could, again, take this in loads of different directions. I'm just going to briefly I'm going to go with what comes up in my mind first. So the first thing I think is when you're in sixth form, you're already building those kinds of independent study skills. You've already had to change a lot from the way you were taught at GCSE to the way that you're taught now. And so that's excellent. You're already on the track to becoming a really independent learner. Try and build those skills, make sure that you've got your kind of research skills down. If you've got any opportunities to kind of reference, things like that might come up depending on the A-levels that you're doing or the BTEC or whatever qualification you're doing now. Just trying to make sure that you build up those independent study skills can really, really help you. You will get support for that when you go to uni, so don't worry. You don't need to be the perfect learner when you arrive, because there is loads of support for that if you need it. But it can just help you get a good head start. And again, building those good study habits is really, really awesome as well, because then you can come to uni already kind of having that kind of mindset of, well, I know that I need to build in balance and make sure that I put in time into kind of each individual part of my life. And so going from there is a really good start. And then linked to that, I would say budgeting is an amazing skill to start building up as well. This is where a lot of students fall down.
Let alone uni, yeah.
This is where a lot of students fall down, is they've come to first year and it's their first time they get this lump sum in their account from student finance and they go and blow it all, and then they can't pay their rent, or they need to, kind of cut back massively in other ways. And I would hate for that to happen to you guys. So I would say maybe sit down for conversations with your parents or guardians, ask them, okay, well, how do you budget? And, see about building those skills. It's really, really useful and can kind of set you in good stead for when you start uni. So make sure you know what's going to be coming in, what's going to be going out, and you can set up a weekly budget from there. And then finally, I'd say just make sure you also learn how to cook a couple of meals. A good few basic meals, always amazing, because then you can just come back to them when you're feeling like, oh, I don't know what to cook. Great, spaghetti bolognese, amazing. So immediately you then have kind of set yourself up with 3 really good skills.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Right, I think that's such a wonderful session. You've given us so much really valuable information. It's been so informative. So Petra, I'd like to say thank you to you, first of all. And then to everybody who's attended and is here now, thank you for being here, for asking your questions. For anybody who feels that we have missed anything or would like some elaboration on, you can email me. It's heather@careermap.co.uk. I'm just going to ping that back in the chat. My laptop's just been really slow, so I'm sorry if it's just taking ages to put an email address in there, to be honest, but it's in now. So yes, thank you everybody. I hope you found it useful. This is the end of the session today. Petra, I'm just going to hand over to you just for final words before we close off.
All right. Thanks everyone so much for coming along and for all of your amazing questions. I've had questions I've not heard before in this chat, so it's been really, really useful actually. And thanks for being such good listeners and a really, really good audience. So yeah, get in touch via the email address on the slides if you have any specific kind of queries. I'm also happy for my my Essex email address to be distributed as well. So if you wanted to get in touch via there as well. So yeah, we look forward to hearing more from you in the future.
Wonderful. Thank you everybody. Have a lovely evening. See you again.
Thanks everyone. Bye.
Bye. Good afternoon everybody.